Good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing on this pre-Super Bowl Sunday before the Super Bowl? So happy Super Bowl weekend to everyone. Hope everybody is doing well. And I'm back for a new episode of That's Code with DuEwa. This is my culture podcast where I talk about culture and entertainment. Hopefully my live is going to go well here on Instagram, because if not, I'll have to move it somewhere else. Hopefully Instagram will work with me tonight. In any case, let's go, y'all. I got some topics to talk about for the culture, of course. Happy Black History Month. I am, of course, repping my Black history as a poet and writer. Before I get into my topics, I want to plug something. Plug a few of my books here. So you all know I'm a poet and writer and editor, and I've been in the creative arts for quite some time. Don't want to date myself, but I've been around. So I want to mention my anthology, Check the Rhyme, an anthology of female poets and MCs, featuring 50 intriguing women poets from across the U.S. and abroad, sharing some beautiful, delightful poetry. So I hope you can check this out. I also have a couple of my poetry books here. My most recent poetry book, Goddess Under the Bridge Poems, with some beautiful poems, if anyone is interested in checking it out. And also my very first poetry collection, Shedding Light from My Journeys. That's me at the New Eurekan Poets Cafe in New York City. Okay, and of course you all know I'm also a teen and children's writer. So I have my novel, Deanne in the Middle, all about drama in the high school years. I'm sure some of you all might know a little something about that. And my last baby, my most recent baby, Alice's musical debut, is a children's story with beautiful illustrations. Shout out to my illustrator, Nadia Salas. And you can pick up any of my books at Amazon or bookshop.com. You can also visit my website, DuEwaFrazier.com, and find out more about me as a poet and writer. All right, so that's my Black History Month poet and writer plug. Okay, so tonight what we want to do is talk about some topics that are in the news currently, that are being talked about on the socials. I had a few topics on the docket and decided to drop some and add a few, just trying to really reflect and make sure that it's mostly positive and entertaining news, as opposed to things that are a little more, I would say, difficult to discuss. You all might have been on my last live that I was on, where it was more like education focused, and that just really it was a lot. So I'm going to go back to the culture and entertainment, and I can always do my writing and commentating in other areas on other platforms, okay? Well, hello there, Miss Dane. All right, so let's get into it. So my first topic is a topic that you all know about, which is Jay-Z speaking on the Grammy Awards recently. When was that, a week or two ago? And he criticized the Grammys for basically what he says is allegedly not following their own metrics when it comes to giving honorings to certain artists. And certain artists, when we say certain artists, we mean Beyonce. Okay, so Jay-Z pointed out that he believes that, artists, particularly Black artists, are being snubbed by the annual awards. And according to the New York Times, I'm just going to go ahead and give my sources so that you all know I'm not just speaking off the cuff and off the top of my head. According to the New York Times, Jay-Z criticized the awards show for what he described as its snubs and inconsistencies toward Black artists. Jay-Z stated, even by your own metrics, it doesn't work. We want you to get it right, at least get it close to being right. Jay-Z also referred to Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff's boycott of the 1989 Grammys, that was some time ago, because the rap category was not televised at the time. And he also, he did concede that, it's music, therefore it is opinion based. Everyone has their own opinion about what, the best music of the year is. And certainly, what the Grammy committee may love and like, someone else may not love and like. Okay, so here's the stats. So we're talking specifically if it's Jay-Z discussing that he feels his wife, his partner, Beyonce, who we all know, was robbed by not being given the nomination or the honoring of the album of the year for her album Renaissance, which we know she had a huge tour this past year for Renaissance. And, the fans were very much in support of Beyonce, and she's really been, consistently delivering new albums and music and keeping the fans, up to date. So the stats on Beyonce as far as the Grammys are that she has actually been nominated 88 times by the Grammys, but she has only won 32 of those wins. As far as 2024 goes, the album of the year did not go to Beyonce. It went to Taylor Swift for her album Midnights. And it's so interesting, Jay-Z being on the stage saying, giving his, although he was accepting his own award, right, that night, he was also really coming to the defense of Beyonce. And it's so interesting that just in 2009, we had something similar, although it was not her partner. It was another hip hop artist, which we all know is Kanye, at the 2009 VMAs, who got up on stage when Taylor Swift was accepting her Best Video by a Female Artist Award. And Kanye did his whole, I'm going to let you finish, I'm going to let you finish. And everyone was like, oh my gosh. It was a whole big thing because Kanye jumped on stage to basically say Beyonce wasn't being given her due by the VMAs at that time. So I think that it really did speak back to, Beyonce and maybe her team and her husband feeling as though she is not getting all of her full due propers. And I believe at that time of the VMAs, I think Kanye was alluding to the fact that he thinks she should have won for Single Ladies or the album that the Single Ladies song was on at the time that Beyonce had. I think that was back in 2008, 2009. I would say, for me personally, my own opinion, I certainly think that Beyonce's Lemonade album was worthy of an album of the year. That was huge with the whole visual album effect of that. I also think her Homecoming album, the live album that went alongside with her Coachella performance that year, was huge. So 2019. So she could have won album of the year for any of those years. She could have won album of the year for Renaissance as well. But again, even Jay-Z says that it's opinion based, and what the committee loves and likes may not be what everyone else loves and likes, and what the general public is rocking with may not be what the Grammys is feeling at that time. In any case, Jay-Z is, of course, his opinion and his perspective is respected because he's been in the industry so long, and he's been a power player in the industry as a quote unquote GOAT in the area of hip hop, of course. And he's does a lot of philanthropy and a lot of community work, we know, and a lot of social justice work. Okay, so that's that on that. Next topic, something very interesting, and we can pull Andre 3000 into this discussion, is that Lil John, the rapper from Atlanta, is now scheduled to release, where am I at here? According to the source, Lil John is reportedly going to release a guided meditation album. Lil John is one of the loudest, most rambunctious rappers that you can think of, at least in my opinion. Love Lil John. Lil John just has that voice that just makes you want to get hype and makes you want to get up out of your seat. However, you do not equate him to anything related to the realm of guided meditation at all. Like Lil John, and meditation do not seem to go hand in hand at all. But it's very interesting, him being from Atlanta, and Andre 3000 is from Atlanta, and Andre 3000, as you all know, just released his meditative type, spiritually focused album, New Blue Sun, in November. So maybe Lil Jon, as the producer he is, was feeling moved and wanting to get into a whole new space as far as his creativity and music is concerned. And maybe he was inspired by Andre 3000, or maybe they even chopped it up a little bit and was like, hey, this is where I'm going with this. What about you? Okay. So the Source article also says that this is all being dictated by Lil Jon, by his own wellness journey. And basically that wellness is taking a priority in his life. And as a result, his music is going to be reflecting the personal journey that he's currently on. So I can totally appreciate that. And I can't wait to hear it. I love what Andre 3000 did. I'm someone that loves that meditative, relaxing music for studying, writing, or exercising. So I think there's going to be a lot of people who will really support Lil Jon's meditative album, just as folks supported and are supporting Andre 3000 and his new journey and what he's doing with music. So it'll be interesting to hear what Lil Jon comes up with. Okay, so now that was my first two topics. If you're joining me, my name is DuEwa, and I'm here giving my podcast for That's Code. This is where I just discuss culture and entertainment topics for the most part. Sometimes I jump in on education and some other things, but tonight it's mainly just culture, entertainment talk. And this is, pre-Super Bowl. We know that, the Super Bowl is coming tomorrow. People want to be light and kind of have a good time. We're looking forward to Super Bowl. So we're just chopping it up on a few topics here. Okay, so my next topic is, this is about the women rappers right now. So first of all, shout out to women rappers because they are doing their thing. This is the first time in my lifetime, and I'm of the hip hop generation, the older part of the hip hop generation, of course. But this is the first time in my lifetime that I've seen women rappers really dominating the field. And there's just so many of them, one after another, just coming with the intention and full force of motivation and their creativity to really get out there and record songs and albums and be leaders in this industry in terms of their creative output, which I find very exciting. So as an older hip hop head, I'm not going to critique what they're saying, what they're wearing, or anything like that. Young people are often used to everyone from their parents to community leaders and teachers criticizing them, talking down to them, and all that kind of thing. So I'm not here to do that. But what I do want to discuss is, first off, shout out and congratulations to Nicki Minaj, who has released her 5th studio album, Pink Friday 2. Okay, please, Barbs, don't get me that I had a little pause on that. Okay, I had to look at my notebook. Just make sure I don't say the wrong title because I have a lot of notes. But shout out to Nicki Minaj on her 5th studio album. I think it's amazing. Nicki Minaj is 41 years old. She has reached the 40 plus over 40 club, and she's still rapping and doing the dang thing, as they say. And so I'm really proud of her for that. It shows that a woman can do so many different things. She can be a creator, a rapper, a mom, and all the things, and still, kind of be on top of her game. So I think that's very inspiring. But right now is what's not so great is she and Megan Thee Stallion are currently beefing. And so as a hip hop head and a woman of the hip hop generation, I call myself a hip hop generation educator and writer. I have questions. I want to know, what started this beef? What is the whole problem here? Because, right now, so Megan Thee Stallion has released a new song called Hiss. And Nicki Minaj has, released a song called Bigfoot, where she's talking about Megan. And they've just been going back and forth about each other over the last weeks on social media. And it's really sad to see, because I look at a Nicki Minaj as someone who could really be mentoring a Megan Thee Stallion. Maybe they don't want to have that kind of relationship, and I understand, because maybe they see themselves as being like in competition, but really I kind of look at it too as there's really no competition, because they are different artists. I think they both have a different style and flow and lyricism. I think the things that Megan Thee Stallion raps about are not the same things that Nicki raps about. I do think they are in a different generation, the two of them. I think when Nicki was coming up, there were not really a whole lot of female rappers right around her at that time, that were really kind of going head to head with her. But now, as you know, we have so many female rappers that are doing their thing. You have Coi Leray, you have Lotto, you have Ice Spice, you have Sexy Red, you have Meg Thee Stallion, you have Cardi B, and so many others, and so, Nicki Minaj has her hip hop sisters, or if you will, hip hop sister cousins, with her. And really, they could all just join forces and just be a continued force to be reckoned with. So I also want to shout out Remy Ma, by the way, because I know Remy Ma has been doing her thing too. I don't want to leave Remy Ma out. And so many women rappers in the last 5 to 10 years that have been showing up and really kind of leading a new era in hip hop, okay? But it really is sad to see that Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion do not seem to be getting along or not seeing eye to eye. Two powerful women and creative, interesting, intriguing women in rap should be able to exist at the same time. I mean, we wouldn't say that two women in R&B or two women in neo soul couldn't exist and get along and still have their albums and record. I remember, when Jill Scott and Erykah Badu both had an album at the same time, they weren't fighting. You didn't see people like pitting them against each other. So I don't know if it's just the added pressure, stress, and drama of social media, because clearly, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion and these ladies, they've come up in hip hop during an era where, everyone's opinion matters, where everyone is weighing in on what you look like, who you're dating, how your performance was, what you said on your Instagram live the previous night. Like, everyone has such an opinion. And then all of these ladies have their own, I guess you would say their fan base, their entourage, like even Rihanna with Rihanna's Navy. And then, Nicki Minaj has her Barbs, and there's just so much going on. It's like, can we just all get along? I mean, there's just, ladies, we want to stay being prolific in hip hop. So, and I think one of the ways to do that is just to support, just be a supporter. However, that sometimes positivity in this industry apparently doesn't always win, because there's an article, let's see if I can still find it. They're actually saying that the beef between Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion is actually gaining more money for them, as in this is a sheer money maker. The fact that these women are beefing is creating more sales. It's definitely creating more drama across social media now. But I don't know if it's creating more sales, but there's actually articles out here that are saying this is a money business. Create drama, and that equates to more money, more sales. So, okay. I guess that's going with the old saying that even bad publicity, even negative publicity is good publicity. I don't know. I'm from a different generation. So, I mean, when we were coming up with our rappers and whatnot, it didn't seem that people just wanted problems and were using problems to make money. But I'm not saying that's what they're doing. So my last comment on that is I really like both of the ladies. I think that Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion are very talented. I think it's very hard to come up in an industry that is predominantly historically male dominated, and to do what these ladies have done with the confidence and boldness that they've had is quite an amazing achievement. And hey, I just hope that whatever the beef is, I hope that it can dissipate and be squashed, because we're still, we're only still just a little over a month into the new year, y'all. And so much has gone on. It's February 10th. Can you imagine it? It feels like it should be May 10th with everything that's gone on already since January 1. Okay. So that's my spiel on that. But good luck to both of the ladies, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, and all the rest of them. I think they're doing a great job with their artistry. And I really do. One thing, I really do like Nicki Minaj's new song on her album Pink Friday 2, Everybody. It has that really nice beat to it. It's very danceable. Anyway, so that's all I wanted to say on that. Okay. Next up, what we want to talk about is one of my favorite rappers, y'all. You can't call him by his previous name anymore, so we're just going to say Yasiin Bey. But when I knew of him, you know, around Brooklyn and him and Talib Kweli, he had a different artist name back then. But out of respect, we call him, you know, the name that he currently goes by. Okay, so you all might have heard that just some weeks ago, it really was not a month ago, it might have been 2-3 weeks ago actually, Yasiin Bey, formerly known as Mos Def, maybe I do need to say that just in case, you know, for the reference, he made some comments about the rapper Drake, and you all know Drake from Canada, he reps Toronto, Canada. And he had an opinion. You know, he basically said that he believed that Drake is more like pop music as opposed to, you know, rap or hip hop. So according to the website stereogum.com, Yasiin Bey stated Drake is pop to me in the sense like if I was in Target in Houston and I heard a Drake song, it feels like a lot of his music is compatible with shopping. Or shopping with an edge in certain instances, it's likable. Okay, so of course, you know, he took flack all over the internet for basically saying, you know, Drake's raps and songs are like Target music or shopping at Target, you know, so some people felt that was like huge, heavy shade. But you have to understand, again, the era of hip hop that Yasiin Bey comes from. This man, you know, he's from Brooklyn. He's, you know, Black from Brooklyn with a specific perspective, okay? He came up with Talib and they had Black Star and doing all of what they did. And their history is different from a Drake who maybe came up in Toronto and then came here and, of course, got with Lil Wayne and that whole crew. And so, you know, Drake's origin as a rapper is a little different. So I would say that could be why the style is different. I think that Yasiin Bey is entitled to his opinion. Again, I mentioned earlier with being from myself from a different generation of hip hop, like sometimes people from a different generation of a certain music era don't always agree or understand with what other younger artists are doing. But I would say, you know, it doesn't mean that what they're doing is not relevant, is not speaking to fans or the community. I really enjoy Drake's music. I think it's, you know, something you hum and sing in the car and something you can, you know, groove to in the club or whatever, your parties. I mean, they play it everywhere you go. And have you noticed in the last 5 to 10 years, Drake, I would say 5 to 8 years, Drake has a new anthem every summer. Drake releases an album and there's like one really, really good song that's like the soundtrack to your whole summer. At least that's how I feel. So, I mean, I enjoy Drake's music, but also Yasiin Bey, formerly known as Mos Def, is one of my favorite rappers of all time. His song Umi Says is one of my favorites. He had a lot of music that really spoke to many of us from, you know, a certain era when we were coming up, for me, coming up as a poet and a public school teacher. And that's like the kind of music I would play in my classroom, you know, Mos Def and Talib and all of them, Erica and Jill, like that's who we really rocked to. So I would say that, you know, Yasiin is entitled to his opinion, but of course, because he got really criticized for the opinion that he had, he basically was saying that, you know, being a rapper and a hip hop artist should require more than just being an artist that has charm or charisma, that there's a lot more that goes along with that. But he's since clarifying, and he's saying, you know, he doesn't hate anyone. He says, my opinion is mine. And this is according to a Billboard.com article, by the way. So I want you all to know I'm not just speaking off the top of my head. I'm speaking with from some sources, okay? Okay, so he's quoted as saying, I don't hate anyone. My opinion is mine. It's legal in all states as far as I'm aware. It was not an opportunity to try to slander him or to clown on him. I have reached out to him. I have no responses yet. He also says, I'm not keen to talk about people or to them through a screen. I prefer to talk to people directly, but I will say this. The young man is very talented. He's been able to be very successful with that talent, and I have no issue with his success. Okay, so that's what he recently stated to clarify. But, you know, these interviewers get you, though. That's why you have to be careful, I guess, when you become that so famous. This is why a lot of very famous people do not do interviews. They stopped a long time ago. Because have you noticed, like, they'll get you even on the red carpet. And what do you think about so-and-so, so-and-so? And they'll ask you something real quick and you're like, wait, huh? And you might end up saying something that you regret because you want to, out of respect, give them an answer. But it really is not something that maybe you had a lot of time to think about. I don't know. I don't think Yasiin Bey was trying to shade Drake. I think as a statesman in hip hop, he has a right. That's just like if someone asked Rakim, the God MC, what do you think about the new raps of blah, 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 blah. Rakim has a right to state what he thinks about younger rappers. Like, hasn't he reached a certain point, a level of respect in this industry to be able to give an honest opinion on the raps that are coming out today, on the artists that are out today? I think you earn a place to be able to be honest. That's the same as if a Denzel Washington had something to say about a younger actor, or a Samuel Jackson had something to say about the work of a younger actor. They've earned the right to have a constructive critique, haven't they? And then, like Yasiin Bey said, if you have a problem, then let's talk about it one-on-one as men, which is what people usually do. If you have a problem, let's talk and not be on social media to hash it out, right? Okay, so that's that. And again, I'm quoting sources in case you're wondering from stereogum.com. This is not coming from me, and billboard.com. So just in case any of these artists hear my live, they'll know I'm referencing you. I am not talking about you in a negative manner. The sources are out publicly. Okay. So that's that. And best wishes to both Yasiin Bey and Drake. I enjoy both of their work, and I hope that they can somehow work it out and have a meeting of the minds. All right. So where am I going next, you all? I want to go to, some very, very good news and very exciting since I mentioned Rakim, the God MC. Okay, so the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has just released the 2024 induction nominees, right? This is very exciting. Ooh, okay. All right, so y'all want to hear the list? Let's give you the list. So these are the nominees. I think this was just announced today, right? It was today. If not today, it was last night. All right, so here are the artists. Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey, Cher, Dave Matthews Band, Eric B. and Rakim. Hey! All right, so you all know I just love Eric B. and Rakim. That's going to be so great, and hopefully they'll get to perform. All right, so here are the other artists. Foreigner, Peter Frampton, Jane's Addiction, Kool and the Gang, Lenny Kravitz, Oasis, Sinead O'Connor, Ozzy Osbourne, Sade, and A Tribe Called Quest. Yay! Okay, so congratulations to all of the nominees for the 2024 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Some of my favorites are in this list. Some really great artists here. Sinead O'Connor, may she rest in peace. That's very nice that they are giving her that nomination and induction. And so hopefully this is going to, let's see, it's going to air at a later date. You all know they release the list, and then it's probably going to air this summer sometime. Because I don't see the date here, but this is going to be a very good show whenever it airs, and they're probably going to tape it from Los Angeles somewhere. So some of you all might be the traveling kind to want to actually go to the ceremony. I remember once, wasn't it in New York? I think it was in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center one year, and I actually thought about going. So we'll see where it's going to be, because if it's anywhere that I can get to, just maybe I can. We'll see. Okay, so what else do we want to talk about? I think that's it. Oh, no, it's not, because tomorrow is Super Bowl Sunday, and we have, who is performing, y'all? It's the good Usher performing at the Super Bowl. So wondering what songs do you want to hear him perform? You know he's going to bring a list of featured performers with him, right? So we have Usher. Let's see. Who has he done duets with? What I'm thinking is he's going to bring Ludacris, maybe Lil John, right? Because they did the song Yeah with him. Who else might show up? Boy. I cannot think of, for the life of me, y'all, who he might bring with him. Oh, okay. Well, the full list. Well, let me just give you the full list of performers. It looks like Reba McEntire is going to sing the national anthem. She's a country music icon. Daniel Durant is going to sing the Sign with American Sign Language. Post Malone will sing America the Beautiful. Angel Pinheiro will also sing America the Beautiful. There'll be Andra Day singing Lift Every Voice and Sing. Shaheem Sanchez, and also an artist by the name of Tiesto. Well, it says he was scheduled to perform to DJ as a warm-up, but he has been withdrawn from the performance. Okay, so you all know that this is scheduled for 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I think is going to be the kickoff, and it will air on CBS. So you all can be on the lookout for that. I don't know if I'm going to watch the whole game, but I will try to at least catch the half. I mean, isn't this like the most entertaining? I don't know. Because anyway, it's the most entertaining. I remember the year they had, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and everybody. That was a really good halftime. And even, when was it, last year with Rihanna? That was pretty good. Okay, so I think that's going to be it, you all. And I'm going to call it an early night because I had a great interview with an author earlier on Nerdosity podcast. So I feel like I've been talking all day. Okay, well, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Shout out to Nerdosity Podcast because we're in season 4 now, and I've got some great interviews lined up on at Nerdosity Podcast on IG, so you can check that out. I always do That's Code just when I get the inspiration to do it, when I've got topics that I want to cover. So you all can please follow me here at Dr. DuEwa Writes to see when I'm going to do That's Code again. And definitely join my channel, That's Code with DuEwa, so you can see what's coming up. But otherwise, I hope you all have a blessed and safe weekend. And thank you so much for joining me, and hope you have a wonderful night. Take care.